Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Jumping out to give broader perspective and scale, this is an iconic modern Omega. Launched at Basel World 2013, the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch Dark Side of the Moon was a revolution. A full ceramic case, 44.25 millimeters in diameter, with matching black ceramic dial. It made good use of the caliber 9300 coaxial chronometer in-house chronograph, but it's generally seen on a hybrid textile leather strap. You've probably never known that the Dark Side has a red side, and on an Omega factory NATO strap, that's exactly what you get. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you get a good sense of the size of the watch, especially with the strap, because it does change dimensions a bit. The watch is 44.25, and it's 16.4 millimeters thick, but with the stack height added by the NATO, which passes underneath the case back, it's actually a burly 19 millimeters thick, so you will increase the stack height of the watch with the NATO. That said, it might be easier to wear across a narrow wrist because you're not dealing with any fight or flare with this wonderfully flexible full textile strap. It pulls straight down, rendering the lug-to-lug measurement exactly as Omega has machined it. 50 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 21 millimeter spacing between should you wish to accessorize with a different strap. And on a watch that's going to ship with a NATO, that's a very serious consideration. You may wish to accessorize. Now, the timepiece has a wonderfully deluxe NATO supplied by Omega itself. You can see all the hardware is metal, customized with a combination of faceting and polish. The strap is handsomely made and substantial, and as you can see, it's a brand new Omega factory NATO strap. You can see why I say it adds thickness to the case, and this is an easier NATO because it doesn't force you to loop and crimp to lock the strap in place. You use a conventional pin buckle, which is conveniently also Omega branded. No corners cut here. The case is handsome. The case is also standard Speedmaster and Seamaster fare, but what sets this one apart is that all of the finishing, the difference between the polish and the satin tones, as well as the sharp break between the bevels and the case band, executed with diamond-tipped tools to create the same finish on ceramic, which is nearly indelible and almost impossible to scratch, but to create the same finish on ceramic that you would get on stainless steel or gold. So the case is remarkably hard to scratch, and I'm actually going to loop some of this strap through so we can take a look at the case back in a moment. And the watch does feature a dial of matching ceramic, so you have not one but two major ceramic components in this watch. The dial of the watch, a polished black ceramic, giving many of the advantages that you would find with a enamel dial, and that's why Omega has gone to all ceramic dials for its flagship models these days, because ceramic has that lustrous gloss and resistance to tarnish, oxidation, and fade that you get with enamel, but it's also far more robust during servicing, more difficult to damage, and more cost-effective both for the maker and the buyer. The scale around the bezel is a tachymeter. We will revisit this. You can use it to gauge the speed of an object over a closed course, such as the start and finish of a standing kilometer, and it too is in ceramic and scratch resistant. You'll note that the dial, though composed of ceramic, features white gold hands and indices because this is a flagship model. You can see there are separate chapter rings for the mono counter featuring chronograph minutes and hours and then constant seconds. There's a cutout at 6 o'clock for the date, and you have a few setting modes. There is a travel time function that allows you to move the hour hand independently while the watch continues to keep the seconds and minutes in track along with chronograph time ticking away. You can also use it to drive the date forward or backwards as you travel across the international date line. And yes, pull the crown out, there is a hacking or stop seconds function. Now you've arrested everything and you can synchronize the watch to a reference time. Turn it all over underneath the case back, which I have so laboriously exposed for you. You see the caliber 9300. It is an automatic winding twin mainspring barrel 60-hour power reserve coaxial chronometer. So it's a COSC chronometer, but it's also the coaxial escapement with tangential contact between the impulsing surface and the multi-level lever. So it is a very exotic system that uses tangential contact across several different planes to impulse the balance, originally conceived by George Daniels and industrialized and perfected by Omega. It results in greater precision in the short term and reduced maintenance in the long term. Silicon hairspring SI14 for anti-magnetism. All of this 50 meters water resistant with a free sprung balance and a full balance bridge for shock resistance. You can actually see the column wheel underneath the skeletonized portion of the bridge. So it's a crisp traditional column wheel chronograph, but it's also a vertical clutch. So you have that smooth engagement of the seconds hand, and you also have a chronograph that can run full time without any hazard to the watch. That's the advantage of a vertical clutch. 54 jewels and handsomely executed. It's a machine finish, but it's a spiral arabesque Cote de Genève with blackened rather than polished or blued screws. And of course, with those twin mainspring barrels, not only do you get a 60-hour power reserve, but the twin barrels help to even out torque release, ensuring that this watch adjusted in 5 positions like a chronometer, and in fact a chronometer, able to keep excellent time with superb isochronism from maximum wind to minimum wind. The Dark Side of the Moon is a modern Omega icon. If you were to pick just one watch from the 2000s that represented a best of, or I should say the 2010s, it would probably be down to this and the Silver Snoopy 2, and that's a tough call. Why not own them both? Start with this one on the watch box. Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon. You can see this one glows brightly by night. Black and red by day, green by night. See it in the light on the watch box.